So getting into core functionalities, let's explore the primary features implemented in the backend. So I'll break it down into 4 parts, whereby we have the user registration and authentication, we have loan application and management, we have loan repayment, then lastly error handling and validation. So starting with the user registration and authentication. So here here I implemented the JWT, the JSON Web Token, for securing user authentication. So the authentication stroke register endpoint, it enables new user registration, while the authentication stroke login provides JWT token for accessing protected endpoints. So an example is users must include their token in on the authorization header to access resources such as loan application. So the first file we can view here would be of course under user registration and authentication, the views. So just as I was saying, it has to check for all the entities, and even you can check the serializer authentication serializers. That file, it displays the serializers used for user registration, highlighting the validation for required fields such like email and password, though I've not yet finished the development. So another file you can check is the settings file, whereby the setting file. So this file, it shows the configuration for JWT, such as the secret key, and here of course the secret key, the token expiry time, and authentication classes. So it displays all that, and in authentication classes, we typically I was focusing on the RESTful framework settings. Then the URL, starting with the first one from our app. So the URL file, so typically it shows the routing for authentication related to endpoints like the authorized user and authorized login. So unlike we also have the other URL, but that one is for other purposes. So the one under the API was the one I was talking about. Point 2, the loan application and management. So users can apply for loans via the loan file that I'll be showing soon, by specifying the amount, payment methods, and reason for the loan. So by default, applications are marked as pending, and an admin can update their status to approved or rejected using the loan ID approved endpoints. So the API ensures robust validation for fields like repayment terms and loan amounts, for preventing invalid submission. So just under the same loan, under loan application and management. So as I was saying, so you see with the request that the person should be sending, it gets the request, then for the authentication, now posting whatever it's being put. So it highlights the loan endpoints for loan applications. So it explains the logic for handling input fields like amount, repayment period, and let me just check on it. It's amount, repayment period, and and reason. So and also the default status of pending. So it shows the admin view for loan ID approval, where the loan status is updated or approved or rejected. So by default, the status of the loan is just pending, and it's upon the admin to change the status. So the other file does the same. So here it declares the loan serializer, focusing on field level validation, like something like ensuring the loan amount is positive, and the repayment pause period is valid. So it has to check that. And for the model file, the models Python file, it opens the loan model and explains how the field entities like amount, status, repayment period are defined and related to the user model. Then the URL, of course, shows the routing for loan related to the routing for the loan related to related endpoints like loan and loan ID approval. Our that part is the loan repayment. So on loan repayment, users can make repayment using the loan ID repay. These updates the loan balance and generates repayment history. So each repayment is tracked through the repayment model, ensuring accountability and transparency. So here, typically under loan repayment, just as we were saying, so whatever it views, so it highlights the loan ID repayment endpoint. It explains how the repayment is processed, updating the loan balance and creating a repayment history. Then for the models, it opens the repayment module at and explains its relationship to the loan and user module. It shows the fields like the amount paid, payment date, and remaining balance. So I'm still completing the development, and for the serializer file, in terms of repayment serializer, so it displays the serializer for repayments, explaining the validation logic for repayments amount. Then of course the URLs file shows the routing for repayments endpoints. So specifically that is the loan ID. So specifically the loan ID repayment. So the last entity was under core functionality is error handling and validation. So I added customer error and message to provide detailed feedback such as invalid credentials or missing fields. So an example is if a user tries to apply for a loan without sufficient details, they receive a 400 back request error with a meaningful error message. So the error handling and validation, typically just on the same files, so the view. So yeah, for the response, so it highlights specific examples where customer error messages are implemented, such as for invalid credentials during login or missing uh, fields during loan application. For serialism, this one shows how validation is handled in sterilizer. So things like raising validation error for missing invalid field or so. Then there is the exceptions per file that I'll be creating. Not yet done so, but I'll be doing exemption file that should typically be like when you have created a custom exception